Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust video. Alright, so before we start off the video, I just want to make a quick announcement that there's sort of an event going on right now on the Brown Dust Facebook page. You just need to do a quick thing, which is filling up a survey, a very short survey. Basically key in your username, which server you're from, and then just select who you're gonna pick for the upcoming Jumpstart quest. Alright, so do that within these event dates from October 23rd to November 1st to earn yourself 10 premium scrolls. Okay, so let's jump onto the video. This video is sponsored by beautifulhello.com. It's a website that has thousands of beautifully designed clothing to choose from. Pepe Frog hoodie, anime girl hoodie, they have it all. And it also has free shipping worldwide, so you're gonna get your clothes no matter where you're from. Alright, make sure to insert the relevant codes to get some discounts off. Check it out, links will be in the description below. Alright, so in this video, we're gonna cover the 4-star supporters. Perhaps this is gonna be the longest video yet. Okay, so bear with me a little bit. 4 stars, they are equally as important. Alright, so they are not as heavily invested and you won't be punished as bad as the 5 stars if you make a wrong pick, because the investment required for them is not as high. But still, I'm sure many of you would prefer to know like what's the best choices for each of them. So we're gonna cover all the categories. Alright, so the first one that we have to focus on is the supporter. Okay, so out of all of these choices, right, we have, as always, 10 different choices. Ceres, Serendia, John, Naresa, Serubia, Cuick, Elijah, Vincent, Ebony, and Anais. Alright, so this is an easy one. This is probably the easiest of all. If you're new to the game, right, pick Serendia. I would say pick Serendia. Do not go for Ceres. Do not go for anyone else. Just pick Serendia. Alright, so the reason why, I know some of you will be like, oh, Ceres is better, blah blah blah. Calm down, alright? Let me finish. Serendia is better than Ceres in Novice Arena. Alright, Serendia is better than Ceres in Guild Wars. Alright, Serendia is better than Ceres in Underground Arena. Like, trust me, Underground Arena, you put a Ceres, people know you're gonna have that one line is gonna be filled with your warriors next. Alright, so it's like Ceres is buffing the person next, so they know. But with Serendia, 3x3 tiles, they don't know. You could place your warriors anywhere within that 9 tile range, so they don't know. So Serendia is a much better pick. Is definitely much more future proofed, at least right now. Like, even until today, there's no 4-star supporter that can compete with Serendia. Like, period. Serendia is like that OP. She's the best supporter in the Novice Arena right now, and probably for the next 4 to 5 months. I assure you that. 4 to 5 months. I literally said it right now. The next 4 to 5 months, Serendia is still going to be the best supporter for 4 stars. Alright, so in the Novice Arena, nobody can beat her. Ceres is not even close. Alright, so no competition right there. Okay, there's a big but though. The big but is Serendia really needs the plus 15. If you pick Serendia, you're gonna need to invest a little bit in the companion, in her companion, which is Betty. It sounds like a lot because you need 5 companions and soul gears, but trust me, for 4 stars, it's not as much as a 5-star. If she was a 5-star, I might suggest holding back on her, but since she's a 4-star, I would say go all in, go ahead, select Betty and go ahead, try and pull her. She's worth it, like, trust me. Like, ask anybody who has been climbing, like maintaining their ranks in Novice Arena, Serendia is the key to it. Alright, there's no denying that. Okay, so Ceres. Ceres is an easy second pick for sure if you're looking for offensive buffs. Like, no one in this list basically can do what Ceres does in terms of the amount of offensive buffs that she gives, and in terms of the stats weakening immunity, which is key right here. Alright, so stats weakening immunity is really needed on a lot of mercenaries if you run Barbara as one of your main warriors. So definitely Ceres is like a good pair with her. Maybe you plan to, if you plan to do the trio, Barbara, Cowley, Ceres, to get the set mercenary effect, so that everyone in your team gets the bonus HP from the, I believe it's 30% or something. So go ahead, that's a pretty good compelling value. But other than that, I don't see any reason to go for Ceres over Serendia. Like even in the regular arena, I do think a plus 15 Serendia shines much more than Ceres. Serendia gives more crit rate than Ceres will ever give. So in terms of crit damage, yeah, Serendia does not give any. Serendia is more of an attack and crit rate kind of supporter, while Ceres gives a little bit of crit rate, crit damage, and attack. But the tile range is the biggest disadvantage that Ceres has. Like, trust me, there's a lot of times where I have tried to set up with Ceres in Guild Wars, and it's really hard because of the how you have to position your mercenaries and the tile range. Like if you notice my Guild Wars video, my main supporter is Stella and Venaka. Definitely most of the time I'll be using the two. But there are some occasions where I just cannot find a way to place Stella because of it's so hard to utilize that one line. It's extremely risky because you have warriors coming in from all directions. So Serendia gives you that flexibility. It's having that kind of flexibility both in Guild Wars and Underground Arena. I feel like it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Alright, so the third pick that I might suggest you guys go for if you already have Serendia plus 15 and if you already have Ceres maxed out, probably the next one, Naresa, is your best bet. Naresa is pretty good. She was a really solid supporter before Serendia plus 15 was a thing, and she still is. The problem is Serendia just outshines her right now with the plus 15. Like whatever that Naresa can do, the only thing that Naresa has over Serendia is some edgy, a little bit of healing, and maybe some crit damage. And most of the time, you can basically sacrifice that for more crit rate and you can bring in another supporter to try and back that up. So going for Naresa right now, I don't think it's worth it if you really intend to cover as much areas as you can in terms of your progression, campaign and everything, Evil Castle. Serendia is still gonna be the best choice. Okay, so John is a very interesting unit. Before the Cry meta, I would say John is a very good pick for Novice, but right now, John is no longer used as much because of how dominant Cry is in the meta. So John has Taunt, and he gives debuff immunity to a single unit. That's kind of cool, right? So in campaign or things like that, having a John is definitely a bonus. But John and Acha used to be a thing in Novice, but right after Cry exists, that is no longer a thing because of how dominant Cry is in the meta right now. So I would say the John meta is pretty much dead, and I don't see it coming back for a very long time. So the only reason why you would want to pick John over anyone else on this list is if you are trying to cheese a strategy or set up a very unique formation in your Guild Wars. Alright, so you want to like do John to Cecilia or something. Yes, that could work, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you don't have Serendia, don't go picking John for that particular reason. Unless you already have Serendia and Ceres secured, then perhaps you can definitely pick John. Okay, so Sarubia is another one that's really unique in this list, and I feel like Sarubia might be a solid cheese option for some players, and that's about it. I can't think of any scenarios where you would use Sarubia right now. So Sarubia, when she first came out, most players will use her to basically do a Sarubia to Vals combo, because a lot of people try to counter Vals by placing Lilian at the back or some sort of Sloan or Acha so that the Vals gets DOT. But with Sarubia's existence, players counter that by doing Sarubia to Vals combo, so therefore Vals hits front instead. So Sarubia basically converts any mercenaries that you have and have them hit the most front tile, as opposed to skip or rare if they have those skills associated with them. So very unique cheese strat, but I wouldn't recommend it right now. And if you really want, you can slowly build her yourself. There's just no reason to go for Sarubia right now. Unless she ever gets a plus 15, then perhaps we could see more usage of her. Alright, so Qwick, very interesting unit. Definitely not as strong as he used to be. Now Qwick is an interesting unit. If you guys watch my Underground Arena videos or tournament videos, at all, I use Cubic a lot. So Cubic is a fun one to use besides Zakan. And if you're new to the game, I wouldn't recommend picking Cubic though, because the problem with Cubic is like he really needs the high HP rune, and you need the flat HP as well. You can't use percentage HP runes on him, or else he will suffer by not getting much out of the rune. His buffs are so-so, like not the best, they are about average. But you don't really use Cubic for the buffs, you use him as a suicide bomber that provides flexibility in both giving your units some additional small incremental buffs alongside with countering the opponent's strongest warrior with his fixed damage. Alright, so Cubic is a good Dalvi counter in case you guys are wondering. Fixed damage. Most Dalvi don't really go for HP runes, but do keep in mind that your Cubic really needs that high HP rune. If you don't have legendary vital runes or something, I wouldn't recommend going for him at all. So Elijah, Elijah is probably the worst one on this list. And the funny thing is, I'm probably going to pick Elijah as my option because she's the only one that I don't have properly skilled up out of this list, because everyone else in this list is like usable except for her. I've never seen a scenario where I actually need to use Elijah in any certain case of instances. I've seen some people use her in Evil Castle, like that's a thing last time, but right now I think you can just brute strength through most of the stages anyways. You don't really need Elijah. Like, she's just an odd one. I hope that once she gets a plus 15, they'll improve her skills significantly, but right now she's very bad. Alright, so Vincent, probably an interesting one as well, but he's really outclassed by Ceres right now. If you want like a one-line supporter that gives buffs, I would say go for Ceres over Vincent, because Ceres has much more practical buffs in terms of crit damage, attack, and crit rate. So Vincent, he doesn't give much. I believe he has like healing instead, which doesn't really make sense. That healing is not going to help you much in this day and age. Back then when Seer was actually a thing, yeah, having Vincent is cool. You can heal Seer, Seer's gonna heal a lot. But right now in this meta, everybody one-shots everything, so having Vincent, like, just skip him. Alright, so Ebony, probably an interesting solid choice as well. So one thing to note that people tend to forget, Ebony has stats weakening immunity as well. Alright, so people always say go for Ceres if you need stats weakening immunity, but people don't really tend to put Ebony in the picture or always seclude her away. But do keep that in mind that she actually has a very decent buff, and I would say that her buffs are on par with Ceres. But if you plan to use Michaela or Venaka in your team, having an Ebony is going to be hard because you have 2 cross tiles, and that's never going to work out in a good favor for you. Alright, so having Serendia makes much more sense, again with that flexibility of a 3x3 tile range. So Serendia is just a much better pick, unfortunately. But Ebony can still be used in certain cases of the Evil Castle and things like that, but I wouldn't pick her right now. But once she gets a plus 15, I believe she's going to outclass all of these other supporters on this list right now. Alright, Anais, the last one, probably the most unique one as well. She's really needed for the co-op raid Patan. Alright, if you've seen my guide on how to do co-op raid Patan, Anais is really unique because she gives debuff immunity. So not many other mercenaries have that. Alright, so there are units that give debuff immunity like Veronia, but it's a single target. Anais, like, she gives debuff immunity to 9 mercenaries. Alright, 3x3 tile range, that is insane. That is actually insane. So if you have her, definitely getting that debuff immunity going is a counter to a lot of mercenaries or a lot of strategy. Like, people cannot cheese through your strat and things like that. But again, you don't really need a plus 9 for that. You just need a, I think a plus 0 can work equally as well. Yeah, the only thing that she lacks at plus 0 is a tile range. If you really want that tile range, the 3x3 tile, sure, go for her. But other than that, if you don't have Serendia yet, would still highly recommend going for Serendia or Ceres for more offensive buffs. Alright, hopefully that clears things up for you guys deciding to pick a good supporter. If you're gonna pick Michaela, go for Serendia. Alright, so just go for Serendia. If you tend to use Barbara and Cowley in your team, maybe Ceres. But overall, I would say Serendia is gonna help you much more as a new player. Her impact is going to be much more significant once you get her to plus 15. Alright, so do keep that in mind. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, if you guys appreciate the guides, let me know in the comments below, and yeah, show some appreciation. Like, that would help motivate me a little bit, because these guides take a long time to do. In case you guys did not notice that, yeah, it took me like 2 hours to basically just do this guide. So, you know, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, I'm gonna go and work on the next one, which is the Magician. Hopefully that will be like a little bit easier for me. Okay, so have a nice day. Goodbye.
Yeah. All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us, like a good drug, never run. We hook up in my car, driving so far, play your guitar, you'd show me your art. Let down our guards, think with our hearts, stare at the stars, we were never apart. Drinking too young, way too much fun, out in the sun.